Hey there, kings and queens. Welcome back to another episode of Faith Helps Podcast, and I'm your host, Dr. Diamond Booth. What do you do when what you're trying to let go of holds you back? When that memory, that trauma, that thought, that habit keeps grabbing you back as if it decides when it's done with you. You don't have a say anymore. You keep trying to get that person, that memory, that thought, that trauma out of your mind, and it keeps grabbing you back. Demanding your attention, demanding your time, demanding your energy. You see, a lot of times we get caught up because we're trying to think our way through things. We're trying to busy ourselves through things, and that's not going to work. You see, the way our nervous system is set up is we can tell ourselves, yes, we're done with something, and we're done with that relationship, and we're done with that trauma. But our body remembers what happened. Our body remembers all the feelings that were accompanied with it. That's why you have a trigger when you see something or you go to a particular place and it reminds you of that very moment, that very thing, that very experience that you have been trying so hard to get rid of. And a lot of times we try to use distraction, we try to use avoidance, and those don't work. So what do you do? Well, the first thing I want to tell you is that letting go is not an event. Okay? A lot of times people think that healing and letting go of past traumas or past pains, past relationships that you're trying to get over, we think that that's an event, that we arrived here, we're done. But it's a process. That process might be weeks, it might be months, it might be years, and more often than not, it is years. It's years of your body processing the feelings that came up, processing the memories, processing the physical sensations. You see, the thing about our mind is that it doesn't just hold space for the negative. It also holds space for the things that brought us joy. So you might be saying, that relationship was toxic. I don't have anything positive to think about it. Let's pause for a second. Because you're remembering at the front of your mind all the toxicity of it, how it ended badly. But what your body remembers is also the comfort it brought, because that relationship came when you were in a season of loneliness. That relationship brought you hope. That relationship made you feel special for a time being before it turned bad. Or maybe it's a job. And you're like, I'm so sick of this job and I feel overworked and I feel burnt out. But when you first got that job, it was an answer to another prayer that you had of wanting to have flexibility, of wanting to be in a new town and being able to support your family. And so there's grief on both ends, not just the grief of the pain it caused, but also grief of you're letting go of something that helped you survive for a season. Okay? So when you're letting go of something that helped you for a season, it's not as simple as a snap of your fingers, let it go away. And when you're trying to do things to keep yourself busy, you're telling your body, no, we're not processing that. Hold it in. And what I want you to visualize, every single time you tell the grief that's coming up or the sadness or the anger that's coming up, when you tell it, hold on, I want you to visualize yourself getting ready to vomit and then swallowing it back down. Just the thought gives you this reaction. Because depending on how your life was set up in the past, you may very, very closely resonate with that sensation and you're like, that's disgusting. That's exactly what you're doing with your mind and your spirit and your body when you tell it, no, you're not going to process this. No, we're going to grind through it. Because in actuality, even the things that grieve us now and we now in the present moment are considering unhelpful or unhealthy, they served a purpose in the past to help us survive. And they were also enjoyable at some point, even if it was short-lived. And so you're trying to get rid of something and you're leaving this void that begins to form. And that's why you find yourself going back to that toxic relationship. And you're like, I don't know why I keep going back. Or that's why you find yourself going back to, you know what, I'm not going to quit the job. I'm going to stay there, even though God told you to leave. Or you find yourself getting wrapped up in like your insecurities because you haven't dealt with that little girl in you who is still doubting herself and still questioning your self-worth. I had something that I wanted to share with you guys is a lot of times we think that it's just a mind game, but there's a book, and I've read this book before, and it's called The Body Keeps the Score. And I would recommend it. It's a heavy read. It's about trauma. But I think it could be beneficial for those of us who are trying to better understand like how our body processes and deals with trauma. And yes, I'm talking about trauma in this moment, but this can be applied to multiple things in your life, even relationships. And a lot of times we minimize our pain. We minimize like the toll that some of these experiences really had on our lives. And we try to just stuff it under the rug. And that's not realistic. That's going to lead to you having to go back and retake that test that you failed. Because that's what's actually happening. Is God is presenting you with this opportunity to grow through healing. Actual healing is not avoidance. Actual healing is confrontation with the very thing that you want to get away from. That's where you develop that courage. That's where you develop that strength. It's from confronting the thing that you're trying to get away from. And if you are finding yourself in this process, this is what I want you to do. So I wrote out a few things, and it's 4 steps that can help you if you are finding yourself in a situation where you're trying to let go of the past, whether it be a relationship or a job or a trauma, a memory, a habit that you're struggling with, but you keep finding that it feels like it's pulling you back. You're in your whole other lane, but then your mind gets pulled back, or you see something that reminds you and it takes you straight back to that memory. The first thing is name it out loud. Say it. I'm trying to let go of fill in the blank, but it feels like XYZ. It feels like it's pulling me back. It feels like it won't let me. It feels like it's suffocating me. It feels like it's interrupting me or derailing me. Naming the tension allows you to be able to bring some clarity. It's like trying to hit a target without knowing what target you're supposed to hit. Like, how are you going to hit it if you don't know what target you're supposed to hit? If you know, like, this is the problem, this is what I'm dealing with, then you can create a strategy for confronting it and dealing with it and allowing your body to have the time it needs. Maybe it is that you need to have that crying session that you keep trying to postpone. It's not always going to be the perfect time. You're not always going to have the opportunity to wait till you get into the shower and cry so that the water of the shower can cover your tears because you feel so many insecurities about crying or embarrassment, or you feel like you're weak because you're crying, when all of that is a lie. And you need to go back to whatever person planted that seed in your mind in the first place, or society that planted that seed in your mind in the first place, and uproot it. Because if even Jesus wept, who are you to think that you shouldn't? Allow yourself to let go of the things that you are digesting. And the reason why I'm going hard on this is because I think we look at the devil as coming into our life and attacking us through like these major life events, right? Or these major catastrophes and disasters and spiritual warfare, right? But a lot of times the devil tricks us into harming ourselves. He tells us that we're not good enough. And then we take that and we run with it and we start looking for reasons that prove that we're not good enough. And then we feel more depressed and we start to isolate because we don't want to be around people because we're afraid that they're going to affirm that we are not good enough. And we have run ourselves in a cycle. Or the devil tricks us with, you're stronger than that. That sounds like a good thing. That is probably an affirmation on your window right now. You are strong. I am strong, right? Mm-hmm. The problem comes with how you define strong. If your definition of strong is, I am so strong that I don't cry ever, and I don't let people see me cry, and I don't get angry, that's not very strong. That's very naive, actually. Because strength isn't about what you can, how well you're able to stuff your feelings. That's the easy way out. It's really easy to avoid. That's why so many people do it. And we do it unconsciously majority of the time. But the strong thing to do is, no, I am going to book that therapy session because that trauma, it keeps coming up and it keeps pulling me back. And I'm tired of living like that. No, I am going to go ahead and talk to that counselor or that pastor or that friend. And I'm going to say, look, this happened to me back then. And I'm not looking for you to give me the answers. I just need to name it so that I can start my process of overcoming it through processing it. And when we start naming things, there's a release that happens. There's a truth that happens. As we begin to name it, we start to see ourselves become less afraid of that thing. The moment you start saying it and calling it out, you see, the devil works by veiling himself through other means and other fake masks, right? But when you can name, that's insecurity showing up right there. Let me go ahead and deal with that. Oh, that's resentment and jealousy. Let me go ahead and deal with that. It looks like, self-confidence and self-worth. But what's actually happening is I'm trying to make up for insecurity that I have yet to deal with because of what my mama said about me or because of the fact that my dad wasn't in my life. I never dealt with the insecurity of feeling like I'm not worth sticking around. So I've decided that I'm just going to use men and women for my own gain because I feel better. Like I'm the one in control now. I'm the one in charge now. I use them. They don't use me. Baby, that is your trauma and your hurt and your pain speaking. You're using that as a cover up and the devil is playing you like a freaking fiddle, like a puppet. Now, the moment that you can identify what that really is, that's strength. Now you're starting to take back that power. But you have to name it first. Secondly, I want you guys to think about like creating a practice of release. All right. Creating a pattern of release. What this means is, as I started this video, there are moments where we feel like our past is like kind of grabbing our attention and pulling us back, even though we are like, we're done with it and it keeps pulling it back, right? And there can be things like triggers that come up. And what triggers actually are it could be a person, place, or thing, or even a smell or even taste can be a trigger that gives you this visceral physical reaction, whether emotionally, spiritually, or physically, where it feels overwhelming. Your body and your mind may feel like you're back in that moment, even though that trauma isn't actively happening now. Or the grief feels like it's new and fresh, even though it happened 6 years ago. Or the insecurities feel so overwhelming that you feel like you're about to have a damn near panic attack, right? When those things happen, instead of trying to hurry up and push it back down, get in a habit of creating space for you to process it. Creating space for you to begin to like, okay, all right, I'm going to take my minute and cry. I know I need to get out of this car and go in this job, but what my best friend just said reminded me of what old boy used to tell me. And she don't even know that hurt, but it's hurting me so bad right now. Okay. That really hurt. I know she didn't mean it, but it hurts. And it hurts because I'm hearing his voice say it, not her. That's what's actually happening. So let me separate it, okay? Give yourself a few deep breaths. Walk around outside. Ground yourself. When I say ground yourself, is bring yourself back to the present moment. Okay. Is that trauma happening right now? Is that heartbreak happening right now? Okay. No, it's not. Okay. Well, what do I see around me right now? I see a tree. Oh, okay. Take it a little farther. What do you notice about that tree? What color is it? It's green, maybe a little bit yellow. Okay. It's a small tree. Okay. What does it feel like touching it? Like, I feel the roughness of it. This may seem and sound silly, but it is, your body is going to respond to this. It's grounding you and bringing you back to a place of peace, enough so that you can go be effective at your job, or you can have the tough conversation. It allows you to gain control while also giving your body that moment that it needed to process what was coming up. And the more you get in a habit of practicing like actual like moments of release as they show up or when they come up, the better you'll be able to handle them. So that when someone does say something to you that's out of pocket, you don't immediately go 0 to 100. Like a lot of times we say things like, oh, I cut people off real quick. That is a hurt mentality. That is coming from some type of brokenness you haven't dealt with. You cut people off so fast because you're trying to beat them to the punch. Because it hurt you so bad when it happened that you're like, no, I'm never going to allow someone to make me feel that way. I can say this with such confidence because I've been that person. I have made that vow of I will never allow someone to make me feel this way again. I will never give someone the power to make me feel this hurt or alone again. I know what that feels like. But baby, that is a sad and a lonely life to live. And you're going to end up cutting off some people that you're going to regret losing. And yes, some people are forgiven. Some people aren't. Because they're trying to protect themselves too. And we need to give grace for that. And so the better you learn how to release what comes up as it comes up, whether it be emotion, whether it be pain. And sometimes those emotions feel physically painful. Like it feels like a crushing weight on your chest. Take a deep breath and release it. Blow it out. Let it go. Maybe you need to do some push-ups. Sometimes deep breathing don't work for me. I got to get active. I got to hit something. Sometimes I hit the steering wheel. I do some push-ups. I go to the gym and I max out that weight. Oh, I did 270 last time? Nah, we about to bump it up through 300 because I got to allow myself to get this anger out so I don't pop off on so-and-so, right? So give yourself and practice allowing yourself to release what's coming up. Number 3, call in reinforcements as you need. The biggest thing people struggle with that I find when it comes to their mental health is asking for help. Because there's so much shame and insecurities. And I think globally we've gotten a lot better with it, but there's still some more progress that needs to be made, especially with my, Black and Latina and just like BIPOC population, right? We are still working towards normalizing, like it's okay to ask for help. Not just even in mental health, it's like even financially. Like it took me a while to learn how to be able to ask for help. Like, hey, I need help learn how to better manage my finances. And some of it is self-control, but some of it is a scarcity mindset. And I need to overcome that so that I can be a good steward of the finances that God is bringing into my life. I know I'm going to be a millionaire. Point blank, period. But I also know I don't want that blessing right now. Because between me and my time with God, we've already clarified I ain't ready for it. I still have some things I need to work through and work out. And so when you ask for help, 1, you're not just admitting like, okay, this is what's going on. But 2, you're giving an opportunity for people to support you, and you deserve support. It's not weak to ask for help. That's actually strong. And it takes courage to be able to do that, to ask for help, right? And we all need help. And once you do it, you're also modeling. Like I'm thinking right now in my mind, I see just like a single mother and single father, like parents just being too prideful or too afraid or too ashamed to ask for help. It's okay to ask for help. And when you do that, you show your children that it's also okay to ask for help. Yes, there are some people that take advantage of that. That's why we ask for discernment and wisdom, so that we ask the right person, the people that aren't going to take advantage of it, the people that aren't going to make us feel bad about it. and practicing building up those healthy relationships. And then another way of calling in reinforcements is also not just relying on one thing. So many times people come to therapy and they think it's just what we do in that 1 hour or 50 minutes that we're sitting together. No. Got 'em. That is not what your work is going to look like. You know, it's therapy, but it's also journaling outside of therapy. It's completing your therapy homework. It's also attending the exercise. I assign my clients like, oh, this is where we were. Give an example. I've told my clients like, okay, within the next month, I need you to go to a rage room. Like you need it. And you come back and you say you still haven't done it. Okay. Well, did you do something to supplement it? No? Oh, okay. Go back to the drawing board. We will meet once you get that completed. And then they do it and they come back and they have the revelation that I wanted them to get in the first place. Or it's, you need to have that conversation with your boss or your manager, whomever it might be. We practice it and work it out in therapy. We can role play it in therapy. But at the end of the day, it's not just what happens in therapy, it's what you do outside of therapy. Likewise, the whole basis of this podcast is not just psychology and mental health, it's faith. Faith helps, right? That's why the symbol for this podcast is a cross and a chair that are merged, because it's faith and the help that we need. Calling in those reinforcements and doing what we need to do spiritually as well as mentally. So God, this is what I'm struggling with. God, I need your heavenly host to empower me in this moment. Dear Heavenly Father, I'm seeking you out for discernment and wisdom. I'm seeking you for courage to even deal with the trauma that I keep avoiding, that I've stuffed away for 10, 12 plus years. That is how you fight a winning battle, because you're already set up to win. Like as a child of God, he's already, made you the winner. It's just you realizing that and uncovering and unveiling that part of your story where the trauma no longer is holding you, or the pain is no longer holding you. The heartbreak doesn't sting as much anymore. It's a process, and it's okay to ask for help for that. Now, number 3, I want you to, I'm sorry, not number 3. Number 4. Yes, we're on number 4. 1 was name it out loud. 2 was create a practice of releasing it. Number 3, I said call in reinforcements. And then last but not least, I want you to get anchored in what's ahead. I have a massive vision board that I created and put in my room. It's like obscenely way oversized, but it motivates me. And it helps me refocus in those moments where I find myself lingering on the past, and I'm lingering at what could have been, or what happens, or how angry I am, or how hurt I am and disappointed. And I'm like sitting in my room and I see that vision board and I see what's ahead of me. I see what I'm believing for. I see what I'm praying for. And I am encouraged and I'm refocused. And my sight isn't so blurry anymore. And my hope is restored and renewed. Set your sights on what's ahead of you, what you're believing God for. Not just praying about it, visualizing it. I take an hour out of my day. Sometimes it's less than an hour. Oftentimes it's less than an hour. I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes it's like 20, 30 minutes. I sit aside and I have this very specific script that I created for myself over like a dream day that I want to experience in life one day. I'm not going to share it because it's just too long. But I sit and I walk myself through, as I'm thinking it, I'm saying it out loud, what I want to see happen. And I'm visualizing it until the day that I am standing. Part of this vision is visualization is that I'm standing on a balcony of my beautiful, amazing dream home. I'm looking out over my backyard, and specific people in my life that matter very much are just all congregating and talking and bonding. And I'm just like looking at it. I see that happening now. And until the day that it happens, I'm going to keep speaking it. And I'm going to keep thinking it and believing for it. And I'm setting my sights on what's ahead. And the more that you spend time focusing on that, not in an anxious way of what you're trying to get to, but in a excited way, in a hopeful way. Expect good things. Expect growth. Expect your dreams to come true. Expect those blessings, not just for your own desires, but for what they can do for other people and how God is going to use you in those moments. Like, wanting more isn't a sin. Wanting a great future isn't a sin, right? We get so spooky about that in the church setting. Like, no. God wants good things for you, and it's okay for you to want them because you look good. When you look good, you make God look good. Because if we're doing it right, we're giving the glory and honor back to God. So when people are like, how did you get this? How did you close that deal? How did you get that house? You can be like, Big Papa upstairs, you want to know about him? Let me tell you a little something about my God, okay? And then you introduce them to him, and he gets the glory, and a soul gets saved because they're like, if we're honest, most of the times what brings people to God is one, hopelessness and tragedy, and they're like, they don't have nowhere else to go to. Everything's going wrong. And two, things that they're desiring and they're wanting. That's why God makes it so easy for us to get it, because he's like, that ain't what I want. I ain't trying to withhold blessings from you. What I want is your heart. But if I got to use this little sparkly object to get you to me, he'll do it. Because once you give him your heart and you commit your life to him and you've identified yourself as a child of God, he starts working his magic on those parts of you that are hardened, or those parts of you that need a little work. Like for me, those parts of me that love a good cursing out. Sometimes the word just flows flowingly through me because it feels good, especially when you stub your toe and you're like, confirm it, don't hit as well as a good profane word, right? But it's something that I'm like, okay, God, I see you working on me. Or it's like many other things. I'm not going to go into detail. You get the point. But these are the things that you need to do if you're trying to finally be set free from your past. It's a process. Number one, remembering that and giving yourself grace on that journey. Remembering these 4 ways of how to loosen the grip of your past and what keeps pulling you back, whether it be a relationship or heartbreak or trauma or a memory or a habit that you've let go of. Number 1, name it out loud. Put your voice to it. Number 2, create a practice of release. How are you, whether it be daily or weekly, just make it a habit to release whatever is coming up. Whenever that memory comes up, practice releasing what it's bringing up, what it's causing you to feel. Number 3, call in reinforcements if needed. It's okay to ask for the help. It's okay to ask for support. It's also necessary that you do more than just the first thing that comes to your mind, such as therapy or just journaling. Like, you need to be doing more. Bring in God into your healing journey. Not just praying about it, but actually doing action to it. And then last but not least, get anchored in what's ahead. Thinking about what you're looking forward to, what you're believing God for, what you are drawing out, and what you put on your vision board or what you're hoping for. See those things. Before you see them, to borrow the words of Pastor Mike, see them before you see them. And remember, while you're doing all this, faith helps. Peace out, guys. Love y'all.